Welcome to a new test and teardown video. This time it's a Marconi TF675F Pulse Generator. It is from about 1957 to 1960 or something like that. It can do pulses from 0.15 microseconds to 100 microseconds, and its built-in repeat frequency oscillator is 50 Hz to 50 kilohertz. It is 11.8 kilos, so it is quite big, as you can see right here. I found the manual, and the manual is absolutely fantastic. Of course, it explains the specifications of this unit, but try and have a look at the bottom of this, the last line. Can you see what it says? Light and compact. How about that? In the manual, I also find a little block diagram that shows this thing is of course fully tube based, and the last page in the manual shows a hand drawn schematic from 1960. So I better open and inspect for quality and state before I just plug this thing in. I think this unit was probably stored somewhere with a little bit too high humidity. And by the way, those super thin flimsy power wires, that is definitely a Marconi thing. I've seen this on more or less all their units. Well, look at that one. So this is the nasty corrosion, what do you call that? And the top one is nice and fine. This is the voltage selector. It looks like you just screw in the cable at the right voltage. Well, it seems like I figured out how to open it by removing the 4 screws here at the back and just tilt everything out so we can pull it open like that. But the first little view here reveals it's completely full of styrofoam tiny little pieces. So that is a really dumb idea, isn't it? So I better go find a vacuum cleaner. This is not funny. So let's look a little bit inside this fantastic Marconi. And the first thing we note is this absolutely humongously big transformer. Why is it like 500 VA? I mean, I don't understand. Look at my hand here. It's I could probably not even lift it. It's this big. This is the inductor for the high voltage. Rectifier tube is a 5V4. It's written down here. It's a little bit difficult to see. And that will be the rest of the signal tubes. 6CH6 and 12BH7. I think that is more or less all there is in this unit. Oh, we got the tiny little, where is it? 6AU6. Right there, right? And here's another one. So that is the tiny little, look at that. Of course, I need to take away the little shields here so we can have a better look of the state of the tubes, because sometimes when you pull these off, you can see the tubes, they can be white at the top or something like that. And this one here looks suspicious. See? You can see through the top, and it's probably lost most of its vacuum, and it's the same with this one up here. This also looks a little bit dodgy. So maybe they blow up with the filament when I power it up, because if they lost their vacuum and when I power up the filaments, they're just gonna blow over the filaments. But there's nothing I can do to save them. Just need new tubes. Other than that, there's not a lot of components here. On this side, we got the little variable capacitor and some power resistors, a potentiometer here. We got the fuses. So they're nicely at the front, so easy to access. This is the left side of the unit, full of capacitors. It's amazing, this design. And we can, of course, see all the little connections and everything that is going on here. That will be the choke for the high voltage rectifier. See, that'll be a first stage capacitor. We got the coil and then the second stage. And there you have it, your anode supply. And of course, this anode supply is distributed to local decoupling capacitors near all the different tubes, using the different resistors and decoupling capacitors here, so everything is nice and hum free and all that. That'll be the mains on-off switch, indicator, attenuator, I think so. Or, oh, this is the timing, isn't it? Yeah, that is the microseconds of the pulse. Oh, there's something I really look forward to show you. That switch here is the delay line switch. So the output can go via a delay line or straight out. See, this is the straight out signal where it bypasses the delay lines. So here we can have a little better look at the delay lines. And this one is a 0.1 microsecond delay line. Isn't it just beautiful? It's not very long. And the long one is what is it? 0.5? Yeah, exactly. 0.5 microseconds. And so it's about 25 centimeters long or something like that. And that will be the decoupling capacitors for the pulse outputs. Oh yeah, there was one more thing I saw. Oh yeah, here we go. This power cable. So the power cable goes straight through the burning hot, big rectifier tube. And I don't understand exactly why this rectifier tube is this big. Because, I mean, yeah, okay, the CH6, they're actually quite powerful. So, and this unit here is probably also running at very high anode currents in those tubes to give it fast rise times and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I could imagine this one should use quite a lot of power on the anode, so that can explain this really big rectifier tube. And it runs really warm. Look at that cable here. This is mains entry and it's melted completely, so I have to fix this. And then you see it comes in and then it goes here to the melting point. Really bad idea. And then it goes to the switch right here, and then it goes to the fuses. Wouldn't it have, it would have been smarter, right, to take the entry via fuses and then do all the damage and dangerous things, because then you have a fuse. So, well. So let's look a little bit and play with the power cable. It is so dry and fragile, it cracks completely by the slightest little touch. So now it's my first power up. I don't know what side's gonna be the most interesting, what's gonna happen really. So I turned it on and let's turn, I will dial away the light here and then see what happens. Let's just crank up the voltage real slow. And of course I'm monitoring the DC voltage on the large cap F after the filter choke, and you see no voltage. That is because the rectifier is cold. See, now it's gonna get a little bit warm and voltage gonna rise, and then it's going to start using a little bit of power. So this is 150 volts and it's using 40 watts, so I can easily crank up the voltage, and we got output. So I will continue all the way to 220 volts. Oh, it's using 100 watts. I did of course expect those tubes to be running really warm. Ooh, and I can hear this transformer is 105 watts. And let's look a little bit here on the output. See, we got a nice little pulse going on here. And so how is this working? We can change the pulses. Yeah, that is the width of the pulses. All that, and the amplitude, yes. So that is fine, and then the repeat is here, I guess. So let's go down so we can see. Wow. So that is the repeat. This is 1 kilohertz. Let's see if the readout here is accurate. So this should be 2. Oh yeah, it is 2 kilohertz. 2.09 kilohertz. How about that? And it's running on 370 volts. Oh, that is a lot of voltage, huh? Let's check if there's any AC. About 100 millivolts AC, so that is pretty good. Wow, 370 volts. That is a lot. So I will try and play a little bit. So that is the width and the duration. Yeah, can you hear it? Now it's using 122 watts. I should probably take my little thermal camera and inspect what is getting warm and where is it getting warm, because when it's going constantly up, like you see here, I got a little blinky alarm when it's over 100, so I know what's going on. So I will go and monitor what is hot and what is not. So here's a little tip when I'm monitoring what is going on with my thermal camera. Of course I know what to expect. Resistors, they get warm. Resistors. And then I always check, okay, where is it? Okay, this is pretty normal. And that will be the big green resistors. Fine. But what about, that is a capacitor. And is this warm because it's the capacitor, or is it warm because of wires going too hot? Resistors. I mean, it looks a lot like the capacitor gets warm. So it's only 35, but still. Look at the other capacitor right next to it. See? Ice cold, and this is in the same area. So there's probably some leakage in that one. So that's a little bit interesting. really make some fancy fast pulses. So this is in variable mode. This is 200 nanoseconds per division. And look at that, we've got some really nice and stable pulses. And then we have a fastest possible tiny little pulse, and it's not variable anymore. So this is the shortest little pulse it can do. And there's of course this little variable here. Ooh, it can do lots and lots of volts. How nice! So what can we use this for? Ooh, there's a little, okay, it's just this switch. There's a little bit of jumpy, unstable behavior going on here, but everything is just warming up and stabilizing. And I should, of course, monitor this little capacitor here is not running away from me. I don't know, I'm just really happy about thermal cameras for all sorts of debugging, and you know, you can't stick your fingers into these things, you're gonna get electrocuted and whatnot. So, but I think this is more or less what I wanted to show about this funny little pulse generator. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you soon again. Bye bye.